Now, it's definitely not every day that you learn that a 24-year-old NHLer isn't happy for the second time in his young career at where he's at. Sure, things happen, and life definitely is not predictable, but this whole situation regarding Pierre-Luc Dubois just seems so strange to me that I decided to make a video about it. In doing so, I'm going to take you all along for the journey as we backtrack in an effort to better understand Dubois, his past, and his current predicament. As I've done before, I'm going to present the information and leave it up to you all to form your own opinions. And with that, here is why Dubois could be a massive diva or simply misunderstood.
Jarmo said the type of player we were looking for was size, skill, hockey sense, plays as well on offense as he does on defense. He's a guy that just drives the whole game. And he does that while playing a 200-foot game and playing a very hard game.
Drafted 3rd overall by Columbus in 2016, Dubois came into the NHL draft ranked as North America's #1 skater. This was the first time since the Sidney Crosby sweepstakes in 2005 that a player from the QMJHL was given such an honor. At 6'3" and over 200 pounds, Dubois was not only equipped with a decently sized frame, but also talent as well. Since he switched from wing to center at the junior level, Dubois brought with him a versatility that teams crave. A strong skater that never lets up when it comes to aggression, Dubois was expected to be the capable two-way center that Columbus was in need of. And for a while anyways, Ohio's capital embraced Dubois and observed while he continued to impress and work his way up to the eventual role of being the #1 center. By the time December of 2020 came around, the assumption was that Dubois would remain a Blue Jacket for the foreseeable future. However, as most of us know, at the start of the 2020-21 season, Dubois was traded to Winnipeg instead. But it's due to the events that transpired prior to the trade that is partially why this video is being made in the first place. During CBJ's 5th game of the season against Tampa, it became blatantly obvious that there was some friction between Dubois and head coach John Tortorella, as for the first time in his NHL career, Dubois was benched for all but 4 minutes of the game. Reason being, the forward decided to blatantly stop trying. He stopped skating and looked completely disengaged. The thing about situations like these is, you only get to see a portion of what went on. However, usually when the conflict seeps into the view of spectators like you and me, it's hard not to assume that the rift appears much worse behind closed doors. This whole episode happened days after Dubois formally submitted a trade request that was public news by the time the 2020-21 season commenced. For Tortorella, having a player that not only verbally displayed his desire to be elsewhere, but physically as well, this infuriated the no-nonsense coach, to say the least. And when asked about the odd behavior from his player post-game, Torts didn't hold back. Have Luke and I had conflict? You're right, we've had conflict. If someone doesn't want to be here, that's a hard thing for me to stomach, quite honestly. I certainly didn't bench the guy. He benched himself with poor play, Torts said. In all honesty, the questionable antics from Dubois were viewed as quite selfish by a majority of spectators. Reason being, this completely defied the philosophy that you're playing for your teammates rather than playing for yourself. Anyways, as I mentioned, Dubois was traded to Winnipeg for Patrick Laine and Jack Roslovic. At the time the trade was made, it was largely criticized and seen as putting a band-aid on a complex situation that involved 2 disgruntled players. Well, as far as Dubois was concerned, the trade was initially welcomed because not only was he put out of his misery, but he was also nearby his father Eric, who is an assistant coach for the Manitoba Moose. The team, at least when Dubois joined it, appeared to be a contender, with core players such as Blake Wheeler, Mark Scheifele, and Connor Hellebuck. The idea was that upon Dubois' insertion to the lineup, this would give the Jets a lethal 1-2 punch down the middle. And really, his debut season with the team was a slower one statistically, as Dubois only recorded 20 points in 41 games played. But Winnipeg did make the playoffs, and in fact even made it to the second round. Despite this, the same couldn't be said about last campaign. Coming into the 2021-22 season, the team was expected to be one of the top teams league-wide. But as most of us know, the team that was at one point projected to be a cup contender and make the playoffs didn't even make a postseason appearance. As far as Dubois was concerned though, he had a much better season statistically, as he finished with 60 points in 81 games played. Whether it's internal issues behind the scenes or a failure to embrace the elements in Manitoba, Dubois according to Elliot Friedman, has recently let Jets GM Kevin Shoveldayoff know that he won't be signing with Winnipeg. According to the insider, despite the team having full control over his rights for more than 2 years, Dubois has voiced a desire to test the free agent market in 2024. The news seemed to hit the headlines around the same time that the GM was working to free up cap space in order to sign one of his key players. And according to sources, the plan to obtain the needed funds was to trade off captain Blake Wheeler, which would theoretically free up over $8 million a season. While some may say being blunt could be seen as doing the GM a favor, blatantly letting your teammates and fans know that you basically don't want to be there isn't the best look. According to an article, which I'll link below, from Patrick Lordy from Fansided, Dubois has developed a reputation for having a negative attitude towards management. According to the source, Dubois clashed repeatedly in Columbus with GM Jarmo Kekalainen and coach John Tortorella. While we can definitely verify that there was friction with Torts, the GM later made a telling quote on TSN Radio 1050. "I wish that Pierre-Luc would tell the truth about why he wanted out. He hasn't even told me. He hasn't told his teammates or anybody else. It certainly wasn't about contract negotiations, I can assure you of that," Kekalainen said. This entails that there could have been an issue internally. However, this is something that Dubois wouldn't reveal to anyone within the team. Kekalainen continued to raise eyebrows when asked if he felt drafting Pierre-Luc Dubois directly behind Patrik Laine felt bittersweet since he was traded. He replied with, quote, "Not bittersweet at all," end quotes. Also, according to the Fansided article, Dubois' relationship with former Jets coach Paul Maurice was icy at best. As far as Dubois' intentions concerning free agency, his desire to play in a bigger market has been the first priority. According to an article from The Athletic, the author believes that Dubois' long-term plan is to play for Montreal, which is his hometown team. Considering where the Habs currently are in their rebuild, this could work and be an attractive piece for GM Kent Hughes to build around. However, the whole my way or the highway approach that's come out from the forward over the years could come out again once challenges present themselves. Even still, knowing the skill that Dubois possesses, he could be the ideal replacement for Philippe Deneau, who was also a French-speaking center that played a solid two-way game. As I mentioned before, it's up to you all to decide how you perceive Dubois following the information presented. Is he a demanding player or just simply misunderstood? That is a question I'll leave you all to answer.